Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Tuchel from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Oh, you listeners have absolutely hit it out the park this week because it is a mailbag special and there are so many top quality questions. Let's get into it. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in a virtual room filled with lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Chris. It's the Friday show on a Friday. It's a proper,
oh my God.
I know, it's a rarity. We never have it, ever. Usually because we had a game last night, so we were like, we can't record whilst it's going on. As I burp, because I've already drunk my coffee early. I was early to the show, that's why. So, what are we all looking forward to this weekend, team? Come on.
Football's back.
It is back.
Yay! That's what I'm looking forward to the most, is actually like having something to do around my weekend in terms of like watching the football and stuff, which would be great, which would be really nice, you know, other than the shit international break which we're subjected to, and we're getting another one next month.
I know.
So,
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm hyped. Oh, Chris, what about you?
Ollie's just killed my mood by telling me we're getting another one next month.
4 weeks.
Fucking hell, Ollie.
It's like
But
Christmas.
Jesus
it's every
Christ.
year, Chris. It's every year, okay?
And yeah, do you know what? And every year, my brain makes me forget. So I'm not submitted to this trauma every year. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to the Chelsea game.
Oh.
I know, right? For the first time in a long time. But I
Why?
actually think...
Why? Can you tell us why?
I think it could be a really good game.
Yeah.
I think it's two teams, like Liverpool at Anfield have to attack, really. Like their fans make them do that. And they're not an overly defensive team anyway, even though their record for goals conceded this year is decent. And then if we turn up and play well, and especially what we can do on the counter-attack, I think it could be like one of those Premier League classics, like a 3-3.
You know, honestly, I looked both teams. This is the first proper. I mean, we'll preview it in line of the week. This is a proper test for both teams because none of us of either team have played a proper team. I mean, don't give me Man United being beaten 3-0 by Liverpool. They're not a proper team. Come on.
No, they're not.
Liverpool, yeah, they've I think they've had one of the easiest run-ins to start the season, haven't they?
Ipswich, Brentford, Man United, Forest, they lost that. Bournemouth, West Ham, we had those. Wolves.
It's pretty similar,
Palace.
really.
Yeah.
It's the only difference is I suppose they played Ipswich, we played City. And that's like...
Yeah.
Man United's a gimme. So, yes. For me, I'm looking forward to the final NFL London game. Patriots, Jags. A bit like watching Southampton versus Wolves. That would be this season. Someone's going to win. Don't expect much from the game. So, football-wise, Chelsea. Roma take on Inter in the Serie A. Yeah. Chelsea women, though, take on Spurs at 7:15 on a Sunday. It's 7:15. I don't know.
Oh,
Gets worse. It gets worse because Chelsea have got to play Brentford at 7 at 1 coming Sunday. I'm like, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I hate those. They really know. Do you know, I hate it as well when they do the 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday night. And you think, why? Why? I don't want to watch. I don't want to have my Saturday night ruined.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to go to bed upset.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go to bed straight afterwards in a mood.
Yeah, well. Right. We're going to, before we dive into the news, a Shevva shout out. We've got one. We've got CFC Carter with the best Chelsea podcast out there. The only thing I regret is that I found these guys too late in life. This is hands down the most fun and listen-worthy Chelsea podcast. Makes me feel like I'm on a call with my friends discussing Chelsea and bantering the rest. Doesn't hurt that Mikey is a Seahawks fan as well, so we have a shared joy and NFL belt. Oh, yes. After each Hawks win. And Chris is an absolute legend of the game, by the way. Needs to be enshrined in Podcast Hall of Fame. Love from Canada. So, well, we're great, Chris, Ollie, and
Yeah.
Berth, less so.
Well, can't please everyone, can you?
Who?
Thank you so
This
much
is it.
for that.
Well, Ollie, we can't all be the Cole Palmer,
No,
can we?
that is
You know,
true.
you need the other ones in there.
Yeah.
You need your, who else have we got? We've
Berth
got
is like a
other
Willian.
people. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Reliable.
word. Oh, right. Thank you, as always. Let's hit some news. Oh, it's that time of the week. We're going to check out the news you may have missed in the elevated Chelsea news. Napoli are tracking Ben Chilwell, who could leave Chelsea on loan in January. Thomas Tuchel has been confirmed as the New England manager. Chelsea have received a £190 million cash injection from their owners in the form of a new share issue. Real Madrid are considering a move for Chelsea's Josh Champong this January as a short-term option at right back. Nike are convinced that the lack of a sponsor cost its shirt sales in the summer. Chelsea are halfway through a 15-year kit contract with Nike, which is apparently not thought to be in jeopardy, but sluggish sales at the start of the season have caused concerns. Of course, it's got nothing to do with the disaster of the kit. And finally, Man United have cancelled the staff Christmas party as part of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's ruthless cost-cutting measures after, of course, the 250 redundancies. The players' party, though, don't worry, that'll go ahead. So, for me, 250 redundancies and no staff party, but the players still get to party. Imagine that email going out. Sorry, guys, we had to cut your party, but don't worry. Bruno, he's going to have a great time. He'll let you know how the canapes taste on Monday. Oh, bloody hell.
It's a Christmas
We-
dinner with none of the trimmings.
We got lucky. We got lucky not having him.
You know what I think is so stupid about that, though? It's happened with some other clubs before, cancelling the staff Christmas party, but then the players' one's still
How
going
much
on.
money can you really save?
It saves fuck all.
The players can afford to do their own party.
Yeah, of course they can.
They probably
They're
have a better
millionaires.
Yeah, the staff can't. So if you have to cancel one party, cancel the players' one,
Yeah.
and then they could do their own in one of their giant houses that they live in. It's not like they haven't got the room.
No, it's absolutely. It doesn't save them anything. It's so pathetic. You know what? I was going to say what grabbed your attention from this week. I'm going to actually play a little clip because I've saved it and I've queued it up.
They claim that it's a dark day for England.
Ex-Bayern-Trainer Thomas Tuchel wird nach Informationen der Bild-Zeitung Trainer der englischen Fußballnationalmannschaft.
A German manager for England?
Well, yeah.
Somebody says,
Yeah, well, in an ideal world, as an Englishman, I want to see an Englishman.
I want an Englishman to manage England.
I think it's embarrassing that we as a nation are saying we need a foreign coach to make us successful.
I think we are damaging our own coaching programme.
They've gone against all what they were doing in terms of building and developing their own from within.
I mean, Chris, Ollie, I want to know why England didn't go for like Gary Neville. He's a former manager.
Yeah.
He did all right. He should get the Sam Allardyce,
Chris
100%
Wilder?
win record. Chris Wilder. I forgot about him.
Fucking hell, man! Like honestly, if somebody's getting upset about Thomas Tuchel, who is one of the best managers in the world at the moment, right? If you're going to be upset about him being as part of our national team setup because of his passport, give your head a fucking wobble. Honestly, like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Maybe we're a little biased towards Tuchel because it's what he's done for us, but actually, let's talk about that. What has he done for us? He's won us the Champions League at Chelsea, right?
Instantly turned the club around as well.
Exactly, and the last English manager to win the equivalent of that won it in 1981. The last English manager to win a trophy at all, not international, it doesn't even matter, even just domestically, was 2008. Talking 15 years ago.
Wow.
Evidently,
Bloody hell.
like it's not working having English coaches. You can say what you like about Southgate, and he's got a whole legacy, and he did really well. But we need someone to take us into the upper echelons now, and Tuchel is that guy. Why would we willingly hamstring ourselves just so that we can, have a bloke with an English passport? It seems really, I don't know. It seems really silly to me.
Honestly, Chris, the irony I saw this week of I can't remember if it probably was the Daily Mail. Let's be honest. It was a statement saying, about obviously Tuchel German, and yet the day prior they were going for Guardiola. I'm like, pretty sure.
Everyone's calling for Guardiola and all sorts of stuff. Do you know what really boils my blood as well? Is people talking about, they're not helping people from within. They're not helping people within the coaching thing from within. Right. it's something like if you want to get your UEFA A license, right, as a coach in Europe, I think in Germany or in Spain and stuff, it's like 500, 600
Oh
euros.
yeah.
Right here, right. If you want to get your pro license, it's something like $4,000.
It's
and then
so
the one
stupid.
above that is like $9,000. Like, if you're actually bothered about people, English people getting into management and getting into the coaching, getting into the game, make it cheaper, make it more accessible for people. Don't just moan when we go and get a foreign coach in. Doesn't help anyone. Ridiculous.
Yeah, because I know the DFB have an incentive, the German football, it's so cheap. And then you wonder why are so many coaches from Germany? Because they literally don't go, here's a paywall. You paywall people because not everyone can afford that money.
And you're blocking off actually potentially world-class coaches with a paywall.
Yeah. Chris, come on, help me out, help us out. What do you think?
The only reason why I'm glad people are annoyed about this is because it might actually finally shine some light on the massive problem we have with coaching in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at it and you think everything Ollie was just saying. Firstly, it's far too expensive. You want to do even your UEFA B, you're looking at £1,500. Now, in a cost of living crisis, that is a lot of money.
You have your C license, right, Chris?
I've got my C license, which I got paid for by a club, luckily. But if I want to do my UEFA B, which I do, luckily I'm at an organisation now who will subsidise it for me. But it has like a 2-year waiting list as well because they haven't got enough courses for people interested. So that's a problem. So the infrastructure of getting coaches isn't there. The cost is far too high. We have no national identity anyway. So, you look at what Spain did. They took the under-21 manager. They put him in charge of the national team. It made no difference because the way he coached under-21s is the way the national team played. So the transition was nice and smooth. We don't have that. We've never had that. An English manager has never won our own domestic league. Yeah. That should have been highlighted decades ago. That's a problem. You look at every other league, they have had managers of that nationality win their own domestic league because that's how it should be.
And that's not just a case of when the money came in. That was like you say, it's never happened. So even back in the 90s, when actually some of the best players and the best managers in the Premier League were English and were from the British Isles. So it's like there's a barrier to entry here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a massive infrastructure problem that's stopping us from developing top class coaches. And until we solve that problem, our only option is to go foreign if you want to be successful. Yes, there was people out there, you could make an argument for Eddie Howe, but maybe he didn't want the job, which nobody seems to take into account either. Maybe a Graham Potter, but they don't have the credentials that Tuchel has. And if you want to be successful and you want to win something, you have to have the best in class. Now, if you can't get the best in class who meet your criteria of being English, what's your other option? Get someone mediocre and hope for the best.
Well, yeah,
they've done all they can. Their hands were tied by the lack of good quality English managers. And I'm telling you now, the same people moaning about Tuchel would have moaned if they'd give it to Lee Carsley permanently, if they'd gone and got Graham Potter, or if they got Eddie Howe, it would have been, we need a winner. They haven't won anything. They're gonna moan because the media in this country,
they're awful.
Love moaning.
Yeah. Look, and you know what? Right, and just the last thing on it, right? Last manager of an English team to win absolutely anything at all was Dutch.
Exactly.
So
I saw a comment. I saw a comment on Twitter in regards to that. They went, "That's not the main team." I'm like, "Oh, we're going down that avenue." Okay, fuck off. Because that's I don't like that. That is the England men's team and the Lionesses, England women's team, whichever you wish to call it, are both the main teams for the country. End of. They are, yeah. End of. It applies to all of it. I mean, look, I'll be honest. Look, let's put it on from my perspective. I couldn't care what the nationality is for the next Denmark manager. They could hire my cat. If he wins us a trophy, I don't care. I just don't get the big deal. It's a classic Gary Neville thing, isn't it? And Carragher and all the rest. It was an interesting few voices. It's always interesting of who's against it. Just to say, always interesting.
Who comes out in support of it. right?
Yeah.
So you did have your classic pundits like Neville and Carragher and all of them coming out with this old, sort of anti-foreign nonsense. And then you've got someone like Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
Who comes out on a Sky Sports interview? They're asking, every single manager about it, every single English manager anyway. And he comes out with a really insightful, really helpful, really balanced worldview of it. And I'm just like, well, okay, well, there's one. Get in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're that bothered, get someone who's like, I don't know, at least has a proper head on him. Like, just winds me up, man. Winds me up.
Right. Time for a trip to Kingsmeadow Corner as Chelsea women went on the road to Enschede to take on FC Twente. Chelsea are coming forward again. Hermano goes for the long range effort. Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a goal! Micah Hermano, a moment of pure genius. Oh, she saw the keeper off her line. She took the chance. What a goal. 2-0 to Chelsea. Oh, yes. FC Twente 1, Chelsea 3. Another 3 points, another 3 goals. Takeaways.
Go on, Chris.
Oh, no.
Really bitty performance, I thought. Like, we had control of the game for 90% of it, but, I mean, we should. There's a golfing class between our squad and theirs. So the game went exactly how you would expect, but I thought we lacked any sort of rhythm. I don't think we ever really got into much stride in the game. I thought it was moments of individual quality that got us the goals. My main takeaway from this game, though, was we have got to do something about our defence, because that's going to cost us in the knockout stages. Because, you think about, we could be 2-0 up in the away leg against somebody, and then you let in a goal, that goal can knock you out when you come to the second leg. So it's like, not conceding goals in two-legged competitions is really important. And the last sort of 15 minutes, Twente could have got another 2. And it's like, we are in trouble here, because defensively we just look so open, especially on the transition. We just look like nobody's around. Like,
on the
goal that
it looks really wide open, doesn't it?
The goal that they did score, like, Ashley Lawrence is up front. Like, why is she there? I don't understand.
How have they managed to get a 3-on-2 like that on the break? Like, they've managed to force an overload from basically just running through us, and it's like, you've got to do a bit more than that defensively.
I suppose since we're on the negative side, we'll end on positives. But I think our defence looked shaky at times. FC Twente didn't really challenge Musovic. I suppose I have to be critical of Musovic for not getting strong enough.
She's got to save the goal.
Not strong enough.
Yeah, like
it wasn't a strong enough hand on the shot. It was a goal. However, I guess if I'm being nice, from the distance between her and Van Dijk, I probably couldn't have. So I can't.
Sort of went through her a bit, didn't it?
It's a shame. It is a shame. There were some moments as well. I saw like 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. I think Chris just referred to it, the one I was thinking of. But positives. There was positives. There was one more negative as well. Lauren James pulled out with a foot injury sustained in the warm-up. So there's no update there.
I think it's better better pull up in the warm-up, I think, than in the actual game and suffer a really bad one under intense conditions. So I think she'll be back before we know it.
Right. Oh, the velvet rope is being lifted because Micah Hermano. Oh, welcome. 90 minutes played, 1 wonder goal, 42 accurate passes, 1 chance created, 68 touches, 4 touches inside the opposition box, 3 successful dribbles, the most in the game, 6 passes into the final third, 7 recoveries, 4 of 6 crown jewels won. This was her game. And some of you may be listening back and thinking, hang on a minute, that wasn't the exact commentary from the game you redid there, Mike. You'd be right, because I felt that goal deserved better than the original commentary, because it was like, oh, that's an awful mistake. I'm like, oh, don't do that.
No, it was a great
goal. She saw the keeper off her line and thought, I could do this. I've got the ability here to do this. I think I could. Yeah, praise that. Don't criticize the mistake. Praise the goal.
Yeah, it's an unbeful finish. To actually. You've got to remember, with these long range goals as well, it always matters more when the ball doesn't hit the ground, before it goes in. And like, she squeezed it through a really, really tight angle there. I'm really, really pleased with it, because it was a really, really nice goal, really like nice, inventive finish to sort of see that from far off. It was the Stats Drop Club is opened a branch in Osaka.
yeah.
You know, like we're killing it.
Honestly, I loved the loop because it slowed down a little bit at the end. It was so satisfying to see that. Oh, it really. What did you make of her game, Chris?
Oh, she was probably the best player on the pitch.
She's putting in those performances a few times now this season so far.
Yeah, she looks really good, and I think she's going to develop a lot. And she'll become a really important player over the next couple of years. I think she just needs. My only concern would be regular game time. I think she's going to need that, which I hope will come sort of over the next sort of 18 months. That she'll become a more stable fixture in the starting lineup. There's a lot of competition in those places, obviously, but I think if she plays consistently, I think she could develop into a really, really top level player.
Of course, Agnes Beaver Jones, Aggie.
Oh, she was great.
Another great goal from her. From outside the box, really nice finish. I really like the way she sort of collected the ball from the pass, and then it was just one touch, find the separation, long shot finish into the top corner. Really, really nice finish. She just keeps getting better.
She's good.
It was a week. Well, the Champions League this week, the goals that were scored were insane. I mean, that goal did take a deflection. However, the one I saw that I still think, bloody hell, Alana Kennedy for Man City. That was so good. I don't know. Some people may not have seen it. It's worth checking out. Such a good strike. It's like, oh, wow. My final takeaway from this was 7 changes to the team that took on and beat Arsenal at the weekend, said goodbye to Jonas. That is not just important, though, for this competition, but I think our title challenge, because you need a deep squad to manage all the games. But we don't just have squad depth. We have talent in the squad depth. I think that's going to be so crucial.
Yeah.
Right. So we move to our first Mailbag Special of this season. We've been getting tons of your questions, hot takes, and all things Chelsea related. We can only ever get through so many questions on a regular episode. So, figured it was high time to dive into the mailbag, give you, the listeners, a Mailbag Special. Chris told me before the show that he has done so much research and he went through every question painstakingly, word by word, didn't you, Chris?
Hours on end.
I'll be honest, I read them. That was it.
You did. I tell you what, you did more than Chris did, from what he told me.
Yes. So, just so everyone knows, so all the listeners know, when you hear these questions for the first time, so have I.
Chris really puts the passion and the research into this show. So
I think it's better to play off the cuff.
Yeah, do you know what? I think it's nice to have a mix. Like I kind of know what to expect, but do you know what? It's fun to see Chris squirm in the moment.
I think we've got the perfect mixture here of Mikey's got a dossier in front of him for each question.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Ollie knows what the question is, and I've just walked in the room.
Oh my word! Right. So the first question, and Chris, you're ready for this. Merger clause. Flip it. What Chelsea player is built for the NFL? Vega is built like a middle linebacker, and a throwback here. Drogba as a running back. So whilst the other two think on Google
I've
right
got
now,
one already.
I had Eden Hazard as a punt returner. Because to be a returner, you need that flash in the pan brilliance. You need that mentality and that maverick quality. He's got quick footwork. He's able to run at speed, so that's always a positive. And he has it all. You know what? He could even play running back because he has pace. And most running backs do get injured, so that's another box tick for me. I've got another two as well. So I've got Cesc.
Go on then, Mikey.
I've got Cesc Fabregas, CP quarterback, control, intelligence, can lead. And a current squad member, I thought, who could do the job? I thought, I went with Cucurella as a strong safety because he can tackle. He has the pace to get to the ball quick. And I imagine him and another iconic strong safety of the past, Troy Polamalu together. And they both have very similar and awesome hair. That's a shout out to one of our Steeler listeners. Right.
I've thought of two, which is quite a lot for me because I'm not an NFL guy. My first one is I I think Reece James would make a really good cornerback.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
like we're doing the interceptions and stuff. He reads the game really well. Like, you know, like I feel like he's quite quick on his feet. He's got like a good sort of leap on him and stuff. I reckon he could catch a ball, be all right. And then the other one was just obvious to me. Mykhailo Mudryk is the most obvious wide receiver I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
You know, like
he's
the
very
fastest guy on the planet, more or less.
Yeah.
And you know, like so just chuck it. It doesn't matter who you've got as the quarterback. Just launch it into the end zone. He'll find it.
Chris.
Do you know what? I think Cole Palmer as a quarterback, because he's got vision.
Yes, he has.
But also he's just so relaxed.
Yeah, you need
and that's the most pressured position.
Yeah,
in
you've got to have a cool head.
From what I've seen in films, that is the most pressured position.
Yeah, Adam Sandler. He was a great quarterback, wasn't he?
Everything Chris knows about American football comes from the longest yard.
It comes from films, I'll be honest. My knowledge of NFL stops and ends with films. And do you know what? Throwback one. Mikey can pick the position for him.
Oh no.
Michael Essien.
Oh, he's got to be in the defensive line or the offensive line.
That's what I was thinking.
Blocking. Yeah, he's got to be. He's got the power.
I thought blocking, but I didn't know what they was called. So are they just called blockers? Are they?
No, they'd be line. They'd be like linebackers.
In the D line.
Example.
Yeah. One of them.
Chris was just thinking when he heard that, he was like, "Well, I know Paul Crewe. He played quarterback, didn't he? He was accused of point shaving, and he went to prison. And his wife was Courtney Cox. That was a film. Yeah, that was the longest shot. I do like that film. I must say, it's got wrestlers in as well, so Burke would love it.
There are some really good American football films.
Oh,
nobody does a sports film quite like America.
No, I watched one recently
Miracle
where
on
they
Ice,
did...
Mighty Ducks, Air Bud. You know, like all Space Jam.
There's a really good film on Netflix called Home Team. The Rotten Tomatoes says it's shit. I really enjoyed it, and it's about when Sean Payton got a suspension and he basically coached his kids' team.
Moneyball.
It was really, it's so good. Moneyball's good, actually.
I love that, by the way. That Home Team. I thought that was excellent.
Home Team's fun. It was just fun.
Yeah, it is. Do you know what? Sometimes a film does have to just be fun.
Yeah, you can't. It doesn't need to win an award.
I saw a football film in the last year or so. I don't know if anyone saw it. I think it came out pretty recently. It was called Next Goal Wins. It was about the American. I think he was an American guy who went to go and coach American Samoa. Yeah. And do you know what? Really worth watching. It's a real feel good film.
Did you watch the film or the documentary?
The film. Yeah, when it went to the cinema to see it.
Yeah. Watch the documentary as well. The documentary is really good.
Right. Carter Swan, if you could take one player from any squad in the world for the rest of the season, from any team not Man United or Real Madrid, not named Man United or Real Madrid, who would you pick and why? I found it interesting they chose Man United.
Yeah, I was about to say, why the fuck?
Why
I wouldn't take anyone from Man United anyway.
No.
That's me.
Hoyland's there. Hoyland's there. Ericsson's there. I'm getting hot under the collar here. I went with the easiest shout ever, Erling Haaland.
There's a good shout.
But
to be fair, that isn't a bad shout.
I would actually not choose him. I would take Alisson of Liverpool. He's world-class keeper.
Yeah. I was just thinking Alisson.
He's world-class.
I was torn between Alisson or Van Dijk.
Yeah, I'd have cried if he'd have gone to
Van Dijk, actually. He's having a
When I heard
season.
Alisson, there was rumours of Alisson or Edison, one of them, to go to Saudi. I was like, you can't. You're still in your bloody prime. No, don't do it. I think because of the goalkeeper situation, even though Sanchez.
I think I'd pick Van Dijk. I think you chuck him into our defence, and we concede about a third less goals this season.
His contract's ending soon, so you never know. Right, Rubicon, Chelsea's best right wing or right midfielder ever, which I thought was a bloody good question because I had to really go on.
Because you get these questions a lot, don't you? And it's always who's Chelsea's best striker ever. When people say ever, they mean that you actually have seen.
Because I could say, oh well,
because I couldn't pick
striker
someone
we've ever had, and I never watched him play.
Exactly.
Oh.
So I think I can only pick someone who I've actually seen. I don't like
Okay.
in my lifetime. I don't think I
Okay.
could say because there might be a Chelsea player from the 70s who was really good on right wing, and then
There
we'll
is.
say someone else, and they'll be like, "Oh, that lad from the 70s was excellent," and they'll be like, "Yeah, but I didn't see him. I'm not that old." Contrary to popular belief.
I'm gonna jump in here and just actually say I did temptingly pick Iron Robin, but he wasn't really with us for long. But he was impactful when he was here. So for who I've seen, I would choose Robin. However, going through time, old school here, I'm choosing a club record signing at the time for £72,000, and it's Charlie Cook. Because he had the flair, he was the main supplier to Osgood and Hudson during the 60s and 70s. And I know there's some older listeners who would go, "Thank you, he is the one." Yes, it would be Charlie Cook.
An interesting interview actually with that was recorded with him ages ago.
Oh wow!
He
Okay.
was doing some keepy uppies. It was like some kind of news thing. I don't know if Chelsea TV was back on back then or what, but yeah, I came across it on Twitter, and yeah, he came across really well, and he did look they showed a few clips of him and stuff as well, and he did look like one of those players who's kind of a cut above the rest. He just had something a bit different, a bit extra that people just didn't have back then.
Great stash. He has a great stash.
I think if I had to pick one, I think it's funny because I don't think we've had that many great right wingers or right midfielders. But if I had to pick one in terms of who had given me like the most joy at the club, I think I would go with Pedro. It might be a little bit maybe to say maybe yes or no, and you could say maybe Willian, but Willian was probably more frustrating than he wasn't, whereas Pedro was two-footed, always scoring long-range goals for us, loved to cut inside on his left, bend it in the far corner, like he always had a little bit of magic, and that one pre-season goal that still lives in my head rent-free. Like when you've got a player like that, it's kind of hard not to pick him.
Chris, who would you pick?
You know what, I think Ollie's right though. I don't think we've had talking Premier League era. I don't think we've had great right wingers.
No,
like when you consider if someone said the left, you'd say Hazard.
Yes, you would.
You could even put Zola there if you wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you could.
I'm trying to think. Like,
but on the right, it's like
meh.
Who?
No,
he was
left.
on the left, wasn't he?
On the left, yeah.
I didn't hear the name.
Malouda.
Yeah, he was left.
We love good left-sided players. We don't like the right. I think it would have to be Robin. I think it has to be, even though he wasn't here very long. How good he was in that short space of time.
He was with us so long ago that he had hair at the time.
Yeah, I think you give it another 18 months. I think you could put Cole Palmer there.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually. If Cole Palmer continues doing what he's doing for the next year, 18 months, he's in the conversation. He has to be.
I just want to point out that Charlie Cook's career as a player was so cool when he left Chelsea. So he leaves Chelsea for the first time, goes to Palace, then he comes back to Chelsea. But he plays for the LA Aztecs, the Memphis Rogues, and then the Memphis Rogues indoor team, the Calgary Boomers indoor team. Then he goes to the California Surf, then the Cleveland Force indoor team, and then finishes his career with the Dallas Sidekicks indoor team. I love those names. They are so cool.
Man in America.
I mean, the California Surf. Come on, man. Right. We then move to Arctemix, who asks, question for the pod, hope it's not too late. Would a different goalkeeper coach get the best out of Sanchez? Because after his last few performances, there seems to be signs of a top keeper, but only his decision-making seems to let him down. Would a different approach help him and maybe improve his game?
I think he is what he is now.
I think
a coach can make a difference like that, but I don't think maybe not in the way that the question is maybe implying, in that like it would be transformative. I think a different goalkeeper coach maybe would see a lot of an improvement, but in the same way, a new goalkeeping coach could also make him a lot worse. Like you've got Ben Roberts, who's here at the moment, obviously knew him at Brighton, so he's comfortable with him. He understands his methods and things like that. And there's a degree of that as well. You've got to remember, you're dealing with people at the end of the day. You can't just swap them in and out like match attacks, So I don't know. Like, I think ultimately, how good a player is comes from the talent of the player themselves more than the coaches. The coaches have to get it out of them. But I think personally, I'm not sure Sanchez has that much higher of a ceiling to reach.
You went to say it. I was interested.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ollie. I don't think a goalkeeper coach you'd see a drastic upturn in Sanchez's ability. I think he's a bit of a victim of modern football in a way.
100%.
Because most of the stuff he's not very good at is stuff that 15 years ago a goalkeeper wouldn't have been asked to do.
Exactly.
That's true. So you got a lot of those players who are now like top keepers at top clubs. But
imagine Brad Friedel. Brad Friedel playing out from the back.
Yeah.
My word.
But what I'm getting at is you've got these players now who, when they were in their development, weren't doing that, and now they're being asked to do it. So
do you know a prime example of that for me? This is a bit of a hot take, if you like.
Ooh.
Ederson at Man City. I don't think 20 years ago Ederson plays for a top team.
No, I think you're right, actually.
Because his shot stopping's terrible. You hit the target against Man City, it goes in. You look at his save percentage is horrendous. Considering he only faces about 3 shots every 4 weeks, his save percentage is awful.
About 20 years ago, he would have been one of those keepers that took free kicks.
Yeah, he would have. He'd have been like a mid-table Bundesliga goalkeeper, where he comes out, takes all the penalties and the free kicks, and is like a YouTuber's dream. But I don't think he would have played. I don't think he, you compare him to like a Van der Sar, a Petr Cech, an Iker Casillas, a Buffon. He's nowhere near.
Bloody hell. You're right. I just looked up his save percentage for last season. Ederson secured. How the fuck did he secure 55.6? That's awful.
Well, hang on. So what is that in context? Like, so what is Alisson's and what is Sanchez's?
It just says of the 62 goalkeepers who played 20 plus matches in Europe's top 5 leagues, 55.6. That's bloody awful.
So
that means 45% of the shots on target went in.
Yeah, I'm going to look up Alisson. There's no way it was that bad.
No,
88.2.
Yeah, like that's outrageous.
Oh my word. Bloody hell. Right.
There is something to be said though about with goalkeepers with that. It's not always quite so simple because of course if your defense is better.
Yeah.
But then again, you would assume Man City's is, but if your defense is better, you face worse quality shots,
That's what I mean. Like I think if you take Ramsdale this season, he'll have a high save percentage because he'll face 20 shots a game.
Yeah, and he'll let 2
and
in.
Realistically, he'll save 16 of them. You know what I mean? So his save percentage will be really high.
I still can't believe people are calling for us to get him, man. He's so unserious as a player.
If you play for a Man City and you're only facing 1 or 2 shots on target per game, your save percentage should never be lower than 90%.
Right. From Man City to another Man City related question. James asked if Man City get relegated with the 115 charges and we can have one player to improve our team, who are you picking?
Oh, easy. I've got this. Rodri.
Oh,
I love it.
I had Haaland. That's too easy. And then I did say Rodri, but I thought he's probably replacing Caicedo. That doesn't help.
No, he's not.
You think he'd play alongside him?
No, you would have Rodri sit, and then Caicedo can play as the box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, is Caicedo offering any less in going forward than Enzo?
No, definitely.
You're right.
Do
that. You've got an all-action physical midfield, and then that. Which is our biggest issue this season.
I love Oscar Bob, but that's a potential signing. I picked my player for the Euros. I had Ruben Diaz because I think he'd strengthen the back line and he'd experience.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Here's a question though. So you could take Rodri, obviously. And you could, I think you are right as well about Ruben Diaz. Could you realistically turn down Erling Haaland though?
No, you actually couldn't.
I know it's really boring. Yeah, it's really boring because he's the obvious answer, but it's because it's the right answer, isn't it? The right answer is Erling Haaland because he's he's a once in a generation player. Yeah. Whereas I don't think as good as Rodri is, there'll be another Rodri in the next 5 years.
Haaland reminds me of what Ronaldo used to be. Just scores.
Yeah.
He's going to score 30 goals a season.
The thing is, the way I would look at it, I guess, is like if you're making a signing to improve the team as a whole, you pick Rodri. But if you want just results and goals, which a lot of people will anyway.
That's
you pick
important.
Haaland.
Right,
Yeah.
P. Barry, I saw links of Reece James leaving for Barcelona or possibly Benfica this morning. Would you consider selling if he fails to play more than 20 games this season? Someone's been watching listening to our Last Chance Saloon episode, because I'm pretty sure we said similar, that if he did fail to do that, he'd be gone.
He's not looking good for him so far, is it? Like,
No.
you know, he's already had some time out. He's going to be, although apparently he's fit for selection against Liverpool, but I'm not sure that's a wise choice.
I wait and see.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it. I think if he doesn't play 20 games, I mean,
Yeah,
it's certainly
it's
if it's less than 15, it'd be hard to turn down a good offer.
You know what? I'll put this to you, Chris. I'll answer the question with a question. Okay, let's say he fails to hit 20 games. We're not going to get... I'd rather take the risk and keep him than get the paltry fee we would get for him.
Yeah, because you won't get much.
Who's paying? No one's paying for an injury-prone player. No way.
That is true.
No one's paying. No one's paying the 80 million plus.
The biggest opportunity, if we were ever going to sell Reece James, is probably going to be like
gone.
2 summers ago.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, I think I think that's fair. I think you're probably right. Would it really be worth selling him?
No,
probably not. Because even if on average he only plays 15 games a season, you'll get 15 good games out of him. And for the 30 million you might get as a transfer fee, I don't think it's really worth it. It'd also be difficult to replace.
That's true as well. Yeah, 100%.
So I don't.
And you know, he's a Cobham boy. You know, he's been there a long time, captain of the club. It's kind of hard to let go. You know,
but then you do have to look at it and think, if he's not going to be playing, we'll need to sign another right back anyway.
Yeah.
So then can you really afford to have 3 of them in the squad? Then that is another problem. So
you probably need like an Asby type, don't you? Someone who can play both sides at that point and fill
it's a tough question, but he has got to get fit at some point this season.
You'd hope.
Well, he's fit now. I think Maresca actually he came out when he was talking because he was asked a question about James being available, and he said, you know, he's doing the same thing with James as they were doing with Lavia and Fofana, one game a week maximum, because his body just can't handle more than one at the moment.
Yeah. Right, we've got some quick fire ones now. We've got Vic Ferreira with, do you think if Madueke keeps being selfish in games, he'll be replaced by Pedro Neto in the starting 11?
Oh, I'm sick of this narrative. I'm sick of this narrative. If he keeps continuing to be selfish, which I don't really think he is doing very much. No,
I don't see it. I don't see him being replaced.
I just I've said it before. If I know there are opportunities when Madueke should pass instead of shoot, but if he doesn't shoot, if he never shoots, only Palmer shoots. Like, there's no one else in the team who actually has a go. So it's like you kind of need someone to have a go, you know?
Chris?
I don't think so, because this might be another hot take. I don't know. I think Pedro Neto's been really disappointing so far.
Not set the world alight, is he?
I don't think even if he went along with the Madueke's being selfish, I don't think anyone else is doing enough to push him out the team when they play. So maybe Neto isn't being as selfish, but he's not doing anything else.
I suppose the one
either.
question is like we've said before, do you try and shoehorn in Nkunku into one of those 2 spots and have Palmer in the other, just have them swap around? I don't know.
Yeah. Simply DB, is Robert Sanchez the long-term answer in the net?
No,
probably
next.
Not. Josh Thompson, after the recent run of form we've had, do you think we will be big spenders during the next transfer? I don't know if he means summer or literally the next one, January. No one buys big in January. Well, we did.
Except
we bought
us.
Enzo. We bought Enzo, didn't we? Oh, it's failed that one.
I think
I don't think so.
I actually think we will probably end up spending big in every window regardless.
Oh,
if I had to be honest, because our whole system and our whole way of running the club at the moment is based on this player trading thing, and that the only way to facilitate that is by making a lot of signings. So, like by its very definition, I think we have to, if not spend big, buy a lot of players. Do you see what I mean?
Chris?
It's weird though, isn't it? Because I think there's still. For me, I think there's still 3 areas of the pitch that could really improve. Goalkeeper, centre-back, defensive midfielder. But who in the squad are they selling to bring in more players? Because almost everyone in the squad now is new.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, and you can. I suppose you can sell people from the bomb squad or whatever, but like, one, you're not going to get much money for them anyway, and two, you've still got a player who's now needs to be fit into the squad that wasn't in it before. So
Exactly. So you look at it, and I'm pretty sure when January comes around, depending on where we are in the table, the call for signing a striker will still be there. So let's say they go out and they sign a striker. Who are you getting rid of then?
Exactly. You're right.
You bring in a new striker. You've got Jackson. You've got Nkunku. Still got Felix, Neto, Mudryk, Madueke, Palmer. Where am I getting all these players in?
Yeah, exactly.
We are literally running. Yeah, we are literally running out of room in the squad, but it's difficult to free up room in a squad that you've only had for 12 months.
Well,
and
on that note,
as well, so just one more thing on that. As well, of course, you've got to remember next summer we're getting three more players minimum anyway, because Santos is coming back, Paez and Esteban.
Yeah.
So
on that note, NJ Brandt, how worried are we that the ownership will cash in on Cole Palmer's value next summer? I've got none, because they've literally, the rumor is of a world record fee. So that's over 200 million. No one's paying that.
No,
I'm not. No, I ain't concerned.
I don't know who would want him. Not obviously everyone would want him.
Poor guy.
But who needs him? Of the teams who can afford him, Man City was the club who let him go in the first place.
Yeah. Real Madrid aren't getting rid of someone like Rodrigo for him.
Real Madrid really don't need him. He wouldn't be a priority. I don't know.
Barcelona have Yamal. They don't need him.
Yeah, and again, Barcelona have got less money than me. So
Bayern Munich fees, man.
Bayern Munich have just bought Elise, so, and they've got Musiala. Do they really need him? No. So not to spend 200 million on him.
PSG.
No one else in the Premier League can afford him. Like Liverpool, they would love him probably as Mo Salah's replacement, but they can't afford him. They're not going to spend 200 million on one player.
Yeah,
that's
true.
So
they have less money than Barcelona.
The reason why I'm not worried is because there's literally no club in the world
there's no market
who can afford him, who actually needs him.
Right, merger clause is back again. Would we be better if we swapped Enzo with Declan Rice? Yeah, probably. Who is the best fit for our pivot? Declan Rice.
I don't know. They're both limited in different ways, aren't they? Like, because Rice is not as strong in terms of the passing game as Enzo, and Enzo is woeful defensively. So
yeah, it's a good question, because we've got literally a similar one from G-Pain, who put choose an ideal partner for Enzo or Caicedo, current or within the last 5 years of Chelsea, and they've said Kovacic, Jorginho, etc.
Can I be controversial here?
Yes.
I think the best partner for Caicedo is Lavia.
Okay.
Wow.
I think you play them both together. You have them both sit in, right? Lavia can turn and go because that's what he does. Caicedo can do a bit of box to box as well. It means if you both give them the same job, it means that one of them can go and one of them can stay, and they both know what they're doing. And then you can have someone like, instead of having someone like Gusto invert into midfield, have him just overlap on the outside at the right wing, like he's good at. You know, like, I don't know. That seems to make more sense.
I went a bit wild, and I was like, Caicedo from the last 5 years, and I was like, you know what, Caicedo and Fabregas, and then I thought, you know what's better for total chaos? David Luiz. Oh yeah, I love that. Just chaos.
Here's one for you. I think of in that frame. I think if you stick Enzo with Kante, I think that works.
Do you know what? I think if you put Matic and Enzo, that works.
Yeah, that would work too.
Dennis Wise.
That's a really short midfield, Enzo and Kante.
But you look at what Kante did with Jorginho. Jorginho had very similar deficiencies to what Enzo's got, but it didn't matter because Kante was there.
Yeah, imagine that though. Imagine a trio of Kante, Caicedo, and Dennis Wise. Dennis Wise is only 5'6". What a midfield trio.
Jesus.
Lack of height there.
I think Kante's kind of a cheat code though, isn't it? Because you can put him with anyone and he'll make them look
good.
That's what I mean. You need, I think both of them would be better if you put someone world class next to, like you put Rodri next to Caicedo. I think he's great.
I really don't mind Caicedo, David Luiz. You know, I'm having a thought on that.
Chaos.
I would take that. You know, it'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Finally, Andre Santos. Not Peter Andre. Literally, this is the question. Peter's asked the question. Andre Santos to replace Enzo Fernandez next season.
Oh, mysterious girl.
Oh, dear. Why did I say that together?
I want to get close to you.
Peter Andre.
I actually think he might. Because
I keep forgetting he exists.
Oh, but how can you though? Because he's having such a good season in Ligue 1. Like all of his statistics and things like that are all like, you know, some of the best in that league. It's hard to ignore his performances at the moment. I think he could have come in and done a job this season, but I think having one more season in the top flight in France will only make him more prepared for the Premier League. And he's such a talented boy. I think Enzo's got to watch his back. I really do.
Chris?
I think no one replaces Enzo.
Wow.
Do you think that's a politics thing? Like an upstairs thing, though?
Yeah. I don't know whether you guys have picked up on it as well, but the official Chelsea socials are littered with Enzo Fernandez.
Great.
Honestly, you look at pre-match graphics, post-match graphics, it's all Enzo. He is the poster boy, and the board are really pushing that. Because he was a massive investment. He sells a lot of shirts. He's our Marcus. He's our Marcus Rashford.
Do you know what? That's a really, really good comparison. Is a player who maybe isn't quite as good as maybe a lot of people might think, who has been hyped up to the moon by the ownership and pushed really hard.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Question mailbag closed for another. Well, we'll be coming back to it, I'm sure. So,
ask more questions. We can have more of them.
Exactly. That's the thing. And there's an international break next month. Just saying. Ooh. Just saying. Right. Line of the week. We're taking on Liverpool. Who are we choosing? I really am struggling with this, actually.
It is difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's get the
I was really struggling with this. Do you know what I think is because... So I saw that beforehand. So I saw some stats that said... that something like over 60% or something like that of Liverpool's goals have come from Salah and Diaz this season.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the fullbacks has to have a really, really strong game to be able to stop them. So I'm going to go with Renato Vega.
Interesting.
I'm going to give him his go. It's going to be very much a welcome to the Prem kind of performance.
And the wheel,
if he can lock up Salah, he'll be sorted.
Well, the wheel's gone with Malo Gusto, so good luck with that.
It's the other side. He needs to not be in midfield to do that, though.
Do you know what? That's the one that worries me more. I think I've seen other fullbacks keep Salah relatively quiet, and I don't think he's quite firing on all cylinders. So I don't think he's.
Well, he doesn't want to get injured either.
No, he's not the Salah from 3 years ago, is he? You know what I mean? So I really worry about Gusto inverting into midfield and leaving Luis Diaz all that space on that side.
Bear in mind as well, Fofana's suspended, so it's Tosin who will be the right centre-back most likely.
Yeah.
Who's not the quickest. Diaz might turn him in knots. So I worry about the midfield as well, to be honest, for the game.
I worry about that against anyone.
I think that's fair, but I feel like if our midfield isn't going to defend the back three or back four or whatever we end up playing in and out of possession, we're going to have a really long day because Gravenberch and McAllister will tear us to bits.
Yeah,
I'm going to go Caicedo then.
I'm going to go Levi Colwill. I think he's got to be the one who holds that back line together.
Yeah, awesome shout that. Caicedo is a risk for me. He's either going to be good or bad.
Yeah, he will. He will either be outstanding and we'll go he's top class, or he'll be absolutely shit.
It'll be very much a coming of age for Vega as well. Either he'll lock up Salah and we'll be like he's the best thing since sliced bread, or he'll get absolutely put on toast and we'll say he's not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Lone Army Carousel time. Rules are simple, so I won't say them. We start with the we have the category.
Sorry if you're new here.
So the category is England Men's Player of the Year. The award for England's Male Player of the Year has been won by Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United legends, among many others. How many can you name? And I'll help you out. The award was first given out in 2003. It's voted for by the public. There are 13 names on this list due to some multiple time winners. So who's actually winning the Lone Army Carousel? Because I'll give it to the other. Chris has got a 2 stretch over Ollie. Ollie can go first then. Give him the advantage.
Okay. So we're looking for England Men's Player of the Year.
Yes.
Okay. David Beckham.
He's on the list.
Wayne Rooney.
Yes.
Lampard.
Yeah.
Gerrard.
Yes.
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer's on it.
Oh, it's a bit tougher now, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
When you reel off the really obvious ones.
8 left.
Ashley Cole.
He is on the list.
Wow. I just took a stab in the dark there.
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane is on the list.
Oh, that's quite an obvious one now, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty shocked it took that long, if I'm honest. So.
Bukayo Saka
is on the list.
Okay, now I'm starting to struggle.
5 left.
Jordan Henderson.
Oh, he's got another 4 left. Come on, Chris.
Jordan Henderson. Fucking hell.
I think Ollie's putting his name on the trophy here.
I'll tell you what. Here's a rogue one, because I remember at the time, how the fuck has that happened?
Oh.
Calvin Phillips.
He is on there.
I've got one. He had an incredible 2006 performance. Owen Hargreaves.
Owen Hargreaves has 2 left. 2 left, Chris, to stay in.
I'm going to take a risk because I know he was really good in the league that one year and he won like Football Writers Player or something.
Oh.
Scott Parker?
Scott Parker is on it. Someone's got 1 name left. It's a strong show.
Because it's not what they do for the national team, is it? It's
what they do in
it's
general.
overall, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Having said that, then, is Gary Neville?
No, Gary Neville's not on it. Chris, can you win it?
Who else has been? Oh, Jesus. I think we're looking at like sort of mid 2000s now.
Where's the Condi alarm?
I'll tell you what. What about the year? Because Southampton finished like 8th that season. Adam Lallana.
Have you Googled that?
No, I don't have Google.
Bloody hell, he's got it.
Fair enough, man.
A perfect show.
Adam Lallana, flipping it. So
Yeah,
Adam
because
Lallana
then
won it, and someone like
didn't
Gary
he-
Neville didn't.
Didn't he move to Liverpool then shortly
Yeah.
after?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he burst through. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that that caliber of player though. Someone like Adam Lallana's won it, but say someone like I don't know Danny Welbeck or Daniel Sturridge didn't.
I'm shocked that you got a perfect game.
I
That
think
was really good.
Sometimes they're like
Fair
I'm
play,
pretty
Chris.
sure
Well
like
done.
I'm pretty sure people like Micah Richards and that have been in the running for this before though.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, you know.
I'll do a quick Hazard's headliners because I wrote it out and it's important. So, first clue, who's the one in the news? First clue, he made his international debut as a sub on the 18th of August 2004 in a 2-0 friendly defeat against Iceland.
That'd be so funny if somebody got that.
You ain't getting that. 2, at club level, he has played with Adrian Mutu, Landon Donovan and John Arne Reece. Now, listeners know I never pick players that are easy. I'm not doing that. So maybe I have. Who knows? So that's Mutu, Donovan and Reece. 3, some of his honours include the World Cup, the Bundesliga, the European Golden Shoe and the Serie A top scorer. Okay, so we're now on to the 2 easiest clues. In the summer of 2007, he signed for Bayern Munich from the Serie A.
Golden shoe.
Is it Luca Toni?
Luca Toni, because he was,
fair enough.
with the fifth clue, known for celebrating his goals by looking at his teammates, rotating that right hand to next to his ear, and as if to say, "Do you realise what it is I've just done?" And why is he in the news? Because he was filmed. He filmed himself having dinner with Pep Guardiola and joked that he'd ruined football with the false nine. He couldn't find a team for 4 years.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
a real thing. I was watching it go, is this real? Is that
It
what
was
a random
it was
thing?
random, wasn't it?
It was so
really
random. It's like, imagine like Cole Palmer having a dinner with Sam Allardyce. You'd be like, oh, okay. Cool. Oh. Right, listeners, end of another episode. Thank you, as always, for listening. Thank you for sending your messages, your questions in. Much appreciated. We will do it again. But we'll be back on Monday with our winners and losers from Liverpool, because mostly winners. We're saying it, putting it into the realm. We'll win. So, till next time, that is us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.